Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Mihaela Paduraru, bioenergotherapist. The other days, I was making a few comments on Twitter with regards to King Solomon, Queen Sheba, um, some important features in translation, and I was mentioning um, just as a passerby about Quran. Um, Briefly, I was stating that the Canticle of Canticles, the Song of Solomon, famous writing in the Bible about love, which is considered by many as an erotic religious text. I was stating that I do not consider it as as an erotic text. Rather, it is a description of the relationship between a man and a woman who are created in pair by God. The biblical pair, like Adam and Eve, or Adam and Hawa, as Muslims call Eve, they call it Hawa. So the groom and the bride. I want to be more specific regarding to this pair. We people, human kind, mankind, we are taught and programmed to consider the pair, the wife and the husband, who pass religious ceremony, and then they are considered the pair of God. Well, this is in the case where both the man and the woman are very honest and very truthful to who they are. And we have to be honest with ourselves to acknowledge that for many, I don't know if centuries, but anyway, for sure in the recent history of humankind, we forgot how to be honest with ourselves, especially. So not being honest, we do not always find or recognize our pair. And anyway, I think you have the idea. So the wedding in God's eyes is not the wedding according to the human legal system. It can be that human legal system is actually only the witnessing part, but the wedding is done, actually is made by God, because there are three in a pair, in the creation of a pair. It's the man, the woman, and God who gives his life to the pair, and he is the one who tells each of the part of the pair that the other one is his pair. How? It is in the heart. So they feel love, and you find according to the Hebrew texts, according to along the Hebrew texts in within the Bible and within the Quran, and also these are the Abrahamic. This is the Abrahamic holy literature, holy writing. But if we go further, we'll find the same process uh, and other elements added to this process, and so that we can understand better the what it is about the pair in other sacred texts. We find in the Vedas. We also um see in the Tao. It's everywhere. We just have to be open to translation and not to be lost in translation by our preconceptions, by our patterns, implants, programs, which are fake and false and lies. Um, in the contemporary spiritual literature, this pair is designated, is defined as the twin flame. In ancient legends, in mythology, we find that individual one who was once one and then was cut into, and from then they look for each other, and this myth is and they find their wings is often written in the wedding cards, invitation cards to wedding. There is a lot there. I'm divagating, but anyway, um, I just wanted to be a little more clear, more specific, because people, when I'm talking about wedding, people rush into conclusion, into the pattern conclusion of okay, they it is a pair, then it means it's the wife that was in the church, or what was in, not necessarily, it can be that you met or in the mosque, or doesn't matter, or a legal system. They went to the wedding house, legal wedding house. Sometimes you are lucky or not lucky. You were truthful to yourself, or you are lucky and you found your pair. Sometimes you are not honest to yourself, and you went by the ego and uh, found a person and went with that person, either in a sacred house or in a legal system house, and you declared husband and wife, or anywhere. So that was uh, not a God wedding, and it was not your pair. Okay, so let's go back. I was because it's not about the pair that I want to talk about. I will talk in another video. Sometimes I will record it, I don't know when, or maybe a series of videos, but it is about the Canticle of Canticles. King Solomon, the Bible, Queen of Sheba legend. So there is a legend that King Solomon had fallen fell in love with Queen of Sheba, who was dark skin, a black woman. Um, and the Jews considered that she was not a good woman for him. Uh, the legend says that King Solomon, that Queen Sheba and King Solomon had a son, that he wanted to leave the kingdom to this son, because he had many wives and many children, and not according to the law of the Jews, not to the child, to the offspring that was born with a Hebrew wife, with a Hebrew wife, with a Jew wife. Um, in the Bible, I was also saying on Twitter that in the Bible we have 3 chapters by King Solomon, who, by the way, was just a reminder, was the son of King David, the famous um, author of Psalms of David, who was also promised uh, um, kingdom on a certain region to the descendants of David, of King David. And Solomon was the son of King David and Bathsheba, who was his beloved, his bear. King David had also other wives, according to tradition, and not according to God law, because God created only one man and one woman, and you find everywhere, including in the Quran, this information, this thing about four wives is just a compromise. It's not according to God creation of wedding. You read the Quran and you'll see. um, okay, so the chapters in the Bible are the teachings of King Solomon to his son. Then we have the Ecclesiastics that talks uh, about the way world is created, and the thing that something starts on earth and has an end, and that everything has God in it. Uh, if we go to physics, to quantics, um, to science of atoms, we know that we have the same energy, just different structures, and this is how different objects are created. And Canticle of Canticles, which is the song of love of the pair, and there the woman is a dark. And this is where we go to the legend of Queen of Sheba, if it is the same. Queen of Sheba, which who was black, and they had a son. We have the teachings to his son, and we know that according to the legend, King Solomon did not have had all his children around himself except for this son of this black woman. Now every parent just try to put in the skin, to empathize, to put in place of a parent who was forced to live, to not live with his child, and wanted to teach to give the teachings. This parent will try to find a way of himself to leave these teachings to his descendants, to his offspring, one way or another. Either by painting, either by writing or sculptures or something. This is human nature. So that's why I think that it's that the sun really existed with this black woman, and there are descendants, and there are also archaeology proofs. Anyway, and it can be tied also to what followed after King Solomon's death. If we go back to creation, as explained in the spiritual books, in holy books, any pair is created so that separately but also together as a pair to fulfill a mission, a mission that God gave, not ordered, entrusted to them. This word, God ordered them, I think it's entrusted. Rather, it is an inheritance entrusted by God to this pair, that only as a pair, yin and yang, can fulfill. They cannot fulfill this mission separately. This mission that was given to both of them. And this can be a child, this can be projects of the children, that of the offsprings of that pair. You name it. It's infinite possibilities. About Queen of Sheba, I'm not sure if we find in the Torah, because I haven't read the whole Torah. In the Bible, I don't remember to be mentioned as the name, but in the Quran, she is mentioned. And in the Quran, she is mentioned as in a negative way, as a cursed woman, wicked woman. But let's go back to ancient language, and the way the words in ancient, especially Arabic words, had the meaning. So let's take, for example, the word curse. Curse can mean that the person curses, but also the person is cursed. It has both coins of the matter. So maybe it's better to revise for those who are specialized in Arabic and in ancient Arabic, and also the context there, to revise the also other meanings of that chapter and of those lines with regards to Queen of Sheba. Because she is portrayed by many as a wicked woman. And Jews consider that they were cursed by God. King Solomon was cursed by God because he betrayed God and wanted and started to worship other gods of other women, of his other wives, but in particular this black woman, because she left. We know that she left. This is in the history of the Jews. She left, and then King Solomon wanted to build a temple to Queen of Sheba and to his son, and he started to enslave almost his people, the Jews, and all the money went there for this temple to be built there. And they say that the Jews are cursed because of this. But when King Solomon died, the one who took uh, the crown was the son of the, according to Jews' laws, of was the son of the Jew woman, and yet immediately nothing stayed, and immediately all the tribes of the Jews were split, and they left. They were forced to leave. It is exactly what happened to Queen Sheba and to her son. So she was the only one who was actually she was forced to leave uh, from Israel, and uh, many of the Jews were taken slaves by the Assyrian Empire, who was around Syria, Iran, Iraq, and by the way, uh, who came from Sumer. Sumer is famous, it's the same area, smaller area of Sumer, where we find um, the first writing as almost a sacred book, the legend, the stories of the adventures of Gilgamesh. And there we also find similarities with Canticle of Canticles, the Song of Songs, because in Gilgamesh we find about the land of Lebanon, which is the land of the lion who roars, and Gilgamesh, end of the cedars, and these cedar trees um, are the magical trees who are the guardians of that place. You go there and go and read Gilgamesh with different keys. It's 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 very, it's not only a beautiful story, but it's also a spiritual one. Only that you have to read it several times, many times, to find, every time you read it, you find new meanings there. And okay, so let's go back to I'm divagating always. Let's go back to Queen of Sheba. So if we and the Assyrians took slaves, the Jews, but they took them in pairs, and it's very interesting that they took them in pairs, wife and husband, and this is depicted on in archaeology stones of the Assyrian Empire that we find in, as I told you, it also covered the parts of Turkey. Actually, the Assyrian Empire was extended on a very, but a very large surface. And they were conquered by the Persian Empire. King Cyrus, Iran, who, after so many uh, years, decided to free the Jew slaves, and they left them go back. Why would God allow Jews to be spread all over the world and be taken slaves if they followed God's command? I think that it is very possible that they should be friend with the son um, of King, probably the last son of King Solomon, the son of the woman in Canticle of Canticles, who was actually his pair. And probably this is a curse that God that came upon the Jews, and that they will come back and be together when the last Jew, and the Hebrew text they say when the last Jew comes back. But to come back means to be welcomed. Uh, to come back home means to be welcomed to the family. It can be anywhere on earth. To be welcomed in heart as being part of the family and the offspring of King Solomon. And even if it was if these descendants are with a black woman. And that's why I was thinking that maybe we look in the passage that is found in the Quran with about the Queen of Sheba, or the woman who was paired, if it is her, who was paired to King Solomon. What kind of curse is that? Was she cursed, or because of her, or she suffered so much because she was thrown away and God heard her? We don't know for sure, because if we go to, but it is very possible if we go to teachings of Solomon in the Bible, he speaks about two types of women, of woman. One is the woman of God, who has God within her, and one is when another woman is the woman of evil. And this is where I want to tell you that in no religion we find this distinction. In no religion they say that all the people are good. No, no. Each religion says that there is a type who belongs to God and the types who belongs to evil, not to dark, to evil. And the Revelation, the book of Revelation, the Apocalypse, in the Bible, they say that there is a woman of God and there is a woman of evil. It is called the prostitute or the whore, something like that. The woman who, actually it's the woman who worships evil, and the woman who is of evil. So that person does not have the Holy Spirit within her. we have a saying in Romanian. This person is uh, uh, likes God. Uh, it's it's a folk saying, but I think it contains much of wisdom in within this saying. And also, uh, Muslims have these distinction, but it doesn't mean that. And this is the segregation. You have to look in the heart. You don't have to look in the ethnicity or what religion confession you are declared. It doesn't matter. It simply just doesn't matter. You can declare that. And for women it's very clear. Look, you can dye your hair blonde. It doesn't mean that you are naturally blonde. Anyway, uh, this is quite uh, a forced comparison. Um, but let's the, to say, oh, I'm a Muslim, I'm a good person. I'm a Christian, I am the good person. It leads only because you declare yourself Christian. It leads you to arrogance, and arrogance drags you to the evil ones. Of course, the person who are evil, they know they are evil. They will just claim they are God people. I'm sorry. I know that this will contradict all this wake spirituality that all the people are good. Either you and either you have God within you means, and there is no good or right or wrong. Right, right can be evil, and right can be within God realm. When I say God, I say truth. Truth which comes with love also. You cannot be truthful uh, if you do not love, and you cannot love if you lie. Ponder uh, on this idea. Okay. Um, so that's about it. When you translate something, uh, you have to, especially from ancient uh, from ancient language. And by the way, with with the Quran, people are some are amazed and confused as to why when they talk about God, sometimes they use the singular and sometimes they use the plural. I think it's because God is one and everything in the same time. Mathematics has um, a formula. I don't know it, but I just know the meaning of it. When they start, it is taught in the faculty. You start with 1 plus 1, which everybody knows that 1 plus 1 equals 2, but there is a formula that you start 1 plus 1 plus, I don't know. It's a sophisticated mathematics, and in the end you reach the conclusion that 1 plus 1 plus everything equals in finally 1 everywhere. So 1 is they in the same time, or we in the same time. It's also what God told Moses, I am here, I am there, so I am everywhere. I think that's why they sometimes use the singular and sometimes use the plural, because they may, when they use the singular, they want you uh, to gather within one element, and then when they use the plural, they want you to pay attention to the infinity, so to multiple elements. Uh, okay, this was the second one, not about Queen of Sheba, about translation. Um, this is a video that I would like you to share if you find it interesting, not to take pieces out of it. This is a way of respect, to respect what I'm telling you, because I'm not telling you from, this is my own authentic contribution. I haven't read it somewhere and came and repeated to you. It comes also with my energy within it, and it's also a way of gratitude and of respect towards my work, towards my contribution, um, and I would be very much obliged if you respect my wish and not cut from context and not copy and claim that it's yours. If there is someone who practices this and had the patience to reach this final, usually it's not, but anyway, because I put filters. Kiss you and see you next time. I don't know when will be, but in the meantime you can also look within the community section of this YouTube channel, where I wrote some postings in English, and you can also have a look at brief thoughts on Twitter, which are incomplete, of course, but invitations to ponder the complexity of what we are and what we see. Bye.